Are you on keto but you're not losing weight? Would you like to know what you're doing wrong? This is a very common question, okay? Here's what you need to know as the most important thing. Fat is only used up, burnt as fuel, in the absence of glucose. It's the hidden carbs that really keep people from tapping into ketosis and losing weight. They're consuming a lot of the products, like SlimFast now has a whole line of keto-friendly products loaded with maltodextrin, for example. So you might be doing that. Maybe you're not doing intermittent fasting. You're just focusing on ketosis, okay? But you're having snacks between the meal. And those snacks potentially have hidden carbs. So you want to make sure you're not consuming any maltodextrin, tapioca starch. So start really evaluating your carbohydrates. You want to bring your carbs down to 10 or less. Now, there are other reasons as well. Let's say, for example, you are bloating a lot or you're constipated. That could be a huge, huge barrier. It could be because you're eating so frequently, and I'll get to that in a second with intermittent fasting, but frequent eating creates a lot of bloating, and that could prevent you from losing weight because every time you eat, you spike insulin. And insulin creates all sorts of visceral fat around the gut. So even though you're eating healthy, the fact that you're eating does raise insulin to a certain degree, and insulin is what really keeps you from losing weight. Let's say, for example, you're on social media and you're finding all these great desserts, like with sugar alcohols and almond flour. So a lot of times when you start keto, you want to make it enjoyable. So you're making all these keto-friendly desserts, which is great. But a lot of people have sensitivities to these sugar alcohols and they get a lot of bloating. The bloating will keep you from losing weight because you're retaining fluid. All right, too many nuts or too much peanut butter. It's actually a go-to food for many people. They're constantly eating peanut butter through the day or a lot of nuts, and this can irritate the gallbladder and just prevent you from getting into a deep state of ketosis. Or you're doing too much cheese, very constipating for certain people. They might have allergies, and both nuts and cheese can really bloat a person. Certain vegetables, especially if you have digestive issues like SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, where you have all these microbes in your small intestine and you're just gassed out all the time, then you need to cut down your vegetables. I have a video on that down below if you may have an issue with too many vegetables. Okay, so bloating is another barrier. And then number 3, you're just eating too frequently. There is a large percent of the population, especially over the age of 40, 50, and 60, who have a very slow metabolism. And they're going to need to do 1 meal a day. You want to work up to it. I have a lot of videos on this. I put a link down below. But not until you hit this 1 meal a day will you start seeing the real benefits. So if I were you, I would bite the bullet, try this out, because this is like probably the second most important thing once you make sure there's no hidden carbs. So now there's exercise. Atrophy, especially after menopause, looks like fat. When you go through menopause or premenopause, you get this spike of cortisol. Cortisol destroys the muscles, and you start getting this flabby tissue. It looks like fat, but it's actually a loss of muscle. So if you're doing keto, you're not going to necessarily grow your muscles back right away. You're going to need to do exercise. Unfortunately, it could take some time. It could take up to 1 to 2 to 3 years to get those muscles back. But I do recommend everyone have an exercise program and start getting into that at your level. Next point is time. The whole philosophy that I teach is you have to get healthy to lose weight, not lose weight to get healthy. If you focus on the health, not necessarily the weight loss, you'll be more successful. And I'm talking about energy levels, no cravings, your hunger goes away, your cognitive function is better, your sleep is better, your stress tolerance is better. That means it's working. But let's say your weight loss is not happening. Well, you just got to give it time, because in the process of healing, your body will focus on certain things first and other things later. So it may take time, especially if you have a history of severe insulin resistance, which the majority of the population has a problem with. So to fix this, it does take time, and you just have to give it time. So look at all the benefits, not just weight loss. And then protein. I noticed that when people do a keto program, a lot of times they might consume too much protein, and that can raise insulin. So you want a moderate amount of protein. Usually for an average person, it's going to be between 3 to 6 ounces, sometimes 7, maybe even 8 ounces. But don't go over that. All right, guys, there you have it. These are the main reasons why people are not experiencing weight loss on keto. Thanks for watching. Hey, before you go, would you mind putting a comment down below to tell me what you think about this video?